Amandla! Amandla! Viva the African National Congress, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva South African Communist Party, viva! Phambili nesanko phambili. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Roar, young lions, roar. Roar, young lions, roar. Forward with the ANC Veterans League, forward. Forward with Umkhonto weSizwe Liberation War veterans, forward. Amandla. National Chairperson, Program Director, Deputy President Paul Mashatile, the officials of the African National Congress, isithwalandwe umama uSophie de Bruyn, former President and former Deputy President of the ANC, Comrade Kgalema Motlanthe, the leadership of the African National Congress, as in the National Executive Committee, the leadership of the African National Congress in our various provinces who are represented here, Comrade Panyaza Lesufi, the chairperson of the Gauteng province where we are, the leadership of our alliance partners, the SACP, COSATU, and SANCO, and the leadership of the ANC Women's League, the ANC Youth League, the ANC Veterans League, the ANC Umkhonto weSizwe Liberation War veterans. Religious leaders who are here present, and our traditional leaders who are also here, comrades and friends, and the people of South Africa. Dumelang, Sanbonani, Abshin, Dimasiari, Lochani, Molweni nonke. Comrades and friends, we gather here today in our thousands, the only political party in the whole of South Africa that can bring so many people together in one place, showing the real power of the African National Congress. We gather here carrying with us the hopes and aspirations of millions of our people across the length and the breadth of South Africa, to declare that together we will do more and we will do better. We come together in the spirit of peace, of love, of humility, on the eve of one of the most important elections in our country's history. Thina singabantu boxolo, singabantu abothando, abanothando, asinanzondo. We gather in our numbers to demonstrate the strength of the ANC's commitment to continue to serve the people of South Africa. On Wednesday, the 29th, our people will decide whether our country continues moving forward with the ANC towards a better, brighter future, or backwards to a terrible past. As we gather here in Soweto, we draw inspiration from the lives and struggles, the creativity and determination of so many extraordinary leaders who lived in this city. We think of James Sofasonke Mpanza, Ubaba Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, Umama Uwinnie Madikizela Mandela, uLillian Ngoyi, uAndrew noMama June Mlangeni, Desmond and Leah Tutu, Archbishop, Walter and Albertina Sisulu, Joe Slovo, Amina Kachalia, Helen Joseph, Ahmed Kathrada, Ellen Kuzwayo, Lalu Chiba, and many others. We also think of many legends in various areas of our lives as South Africans. Legends in sports such as Kaizer Motaung, Ivan Khoza, Lucas Radebe, Dr. Khumalo, Gerard Sikoto, the artist, Abigail Kubega, Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse, I saw him in the crowd, Maralo, Lillian Dube. We also think of business giants like Ndate Richard Lynn May, Marina Maponya, and indeed many others. We also think of Hector Peterson and the brave and militant generation of 1976. At the beginning of the year, we called on every ANC leader, member, and supporter to go to every farm, every village and township, to go to every city and suburb, to account to the people of South Africa, so that we could listen to their views and concerns and to spread our message of hope and renewal. We said we would work for a decisive mandate to continue the transformation of our country, to create work and opportunity, to end poverty and hunger, and to ensure that all South Africans can live in peace and safety. Over the course of this campaign, we went through the length and the breadth of the country, and we listened. Re iphile nako ya gore re mamele batho ba heso. Siye sa mamela abantu bakuthi. Iba yingiselile bantu ba ka hina. Itwa kahle ku ri ba vulavula yini na. Ro tipa xifhinga cha u thetshelesa vathu ka Africa Tshipembe tshothe. And over the course of this campaign, the ANC activists and volunteers, yes, did touch a number of people, and we can say that we heard, and we heard very clearly. I do want to take this opportunity to thank ANC leaders at all levels, provincial, national, and regional and branch level, for having engaged in this campaign. I also want to thank our former leaders, such as President Thabo Mbeki, President Kgalema Motlanthe, Bale Kambete, David Mabuza, Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka, Tokyo Sikhwale, Matthew Sposa, and many others who joined in the campaign to ensure an ANC victory. We're the only ones who have a galaxy of leaders. Labo abanye abanazo inkokheli abangakhuluma ngazo. The African National Congress kuphela. Siyaziqhenya sinazo inkokheli ezike zasebenzela isizwe. I also thank the leaders and members of the ANC Women's League for leading the campaign. Oh, Mama in black and green, I want to thank you for leading this campaign of the African National Congress. I also want to thank the ANC Youth League, the youth league that has come alive, that has energized our campaign. Ke a leboga. I equally want to thank the ANC Veterans League and the MK Liberation War Veterans, le MK yempela, hayi le yomkokotelo. I also thank the leaders of our alliance partners. COSATU pulled out all stops and brought out the workers, their shop stewards, to go through the length of the breadth of the country campaigning. Ababomvu, nabo the SACP came out in their numbers, as well as abahlali. I also want to thank our traditional leaders for opening up spaces for the African National Congress to come and campaign in your areas. Rialibua, Akensa Shinene, Boripa Chipinga, Cha Uri Jena Bukati, Hafetu Neba Busaone Riambe, Nabatu Bahash. But most of all, I want to thank our dedicated, committed, and courageous volunteers. Many of you who are here today, we want to thank you. About 500,000 of you across the length and the breadth of the country. You campaigned hard, and you are going to make sure that the ANC emerges victorious, and all the glory will go to you as the volunteers of the African National Congress. Phambili ngama volunteer, phambili. Forward with our volunteers, forward. Comrades and friends, we have listened and understood the desire of our people for a better future for themselves, their families, and their communities. We have seen massive outpouring of support for the ANC across the country. Our people everywhere have reminded us of how we have walked this journey together in the last 30 years to build South Africa. Wherever we have gone, the support of the ANC has been visible. It has been palpable. Support how we bona ukaruka itshwara ka matsogo, batho kaofela ba bontsha gore ba rata mokgatlo wa bona. ANC ba rata kapo ba rate. ANC ya ratiwa mo South Africa. And it is for that reason that the ANC is going to emerge victorious. As we went around the country, our people told us over and over that our country has come a long way. We have made incredible progress and achieved much together. They also told us that our journey towards creating the South Africa we all want and deserve is still work in progress. As we continue our journey, as we prepare to carry out our people's mandate, the ANC will focus on 6 priorities, just 6 issues to take our country forward. Over the next 5 years, working with all South Africans, we will implement a jobs plan to put more South Africans to work. We will build our industries and invest in an inclusive economy. We will tackle the high cost of living. We will invest in our people and provide services that our people need. We will continue to defend our democracy and advance the freedom that we fought so hard. We will continue to build a better Africa and a better world for all our children to grow up in. We have a plan to get more South Africans to work. Throughout this campaign, in the homes of our people, in the workplaces where our people work, in the streets of our towns and our townships and villages, we have met mothers and fathers, grandparents and young people. So many of them told us of their struggles to find work and to provide for their families so that they can live in dignity and pride. Many told us how grateful they were for the social grants that support their children so that they can put bread on their tables. But they also spoke to us about their yearning to work, to contribute to building their families and communities. It was particularly clear to us that young people are struggling to find employment. I was extremely touched by the determination of young people to carry on even after being disappointed time and again with regard to finding work. Our jobs plan aims to address these needs. For young people and for many unemployed people in our country, sithe sizawuyakha imisebenzi, sizawuvula amathuba ukuthi abantu bonke abasha nabadala bayithola imisebenzi. Ha re bua ka mesebetsi, a re bue ka ba batjha fela ba nang le 18 to 35. Re bua le bao ba nang le 35 go ya hodimo gore le bona ba fumane mesebetsi. We are going to implement our jobs plan and building on the great progress. Imisebenzi esike sayakha i-public employment eye-EPWP neminye ye-presidential employment stimulus. Sizimisele ukuthi siyakhe imisebenzi ukuthi sifake abantu bakithi emisebenzini ehlukene. sithi masibafake kuleyo misebenzi bakwazi ukufunda ama-skills, bakwazi ukuba nendlela abazokwazi ukuthi babe nolwazi oluphelele, ukuthi uma bethola imisebenzi bakwazi ukuthi yebo babe nalo lelo thuba lokondla imindeni yabo. We are going to set up, and we have already started, here in Gauteng. We call it Municipal. It's a massive project that is bringing a number of people into job situations. The same is happening in other provinces. And on top of that, we are also going to spend quite a lot of money, billions, training people to get skills that can be best used in our economy, because our objective is to create quality jobs. And in order to do so, we want to build industries. We want to localize so that more and more products are made here in South Africa, rather than to continue to import products that can easily be made in our factories. We will support and protect those industries that employ many of our people by creating a conducive environment for businesses to invest. And these will include industries like in mining, in agriculture, in tourism, in infrastructure, in clothing, food and beverages, and steel. We will also support new industries like in electric vehicles. South Africa is one of those countries that has built an auto industry where we make cars, quality cars that are exported to the rest of the world. We are now going to get into the new industry of making electric cars. We are going to open up more and more industries and opportunities in renewable energy. In renewable energy, we have already seen the investments that go above 170 billion, with most of it in the largest province in our country, Northern Cape, where many investments have been made. Yes, we will also focus on the digital economy, information and technology. We will also undertake a balanced, just transition to a cleaner, greener future that will lead to the creation of new jobs and make our exports more competitive. As we have gone around the country, re mamela batho ba heso ba bang ba re jwetsa hore re se ke ra tlhola re tswella pele fela ka go exporta raw materials like the minerals. We should beneficiate them here in South Africa. Re age di factory mo di minerals tsa rona di tla manufacturiwang mona, re be re ntse re exporte finished products. Go na le gore we must export rocks, soil and dust, and later bring in the finished products that will have been made elsewhere, where with our minerals other people will have created jobs. The ANC Youth League has been the leading voice in this, and we have heeded, we are going to continue heeded their message to make sure that we beneficiate more and more of our own products here locally. As part of the work that we must do to make our economy more inclusive and more dynamic, we will continue with our Black Industrialist Program. We started a Black Industrialist Program where we've been supporting Black industrialists to build factories, to build manufacturing establishments, so that Black people can also participate in a meaningful way in the economy of our country. Throughout the country, we met community members, business people and industrialists who stressed how important it is for our economic recovery that we should repair our railways and also end load shedding. We will complete the work that has the excellent work that has already been done, yes, to tackle our electricity crisis, to bring down levels of load shedding, and finally, kuri heta load shedding inga havi kona la a South Africa hi hanya ku nga ri na load shedding. Nkarhi walowo ta fika hi khensa ntirho lowu endliwako ku ri hi heta load shedding. Se hi vonile ku ri Eskom i lunghisa ti-power stations ta hina, and we have already seen how program of maintenance has been carrying on to make sure that our power stations work more effectively. We have opened the doors to much more investment in electricity generation, particularly in solar and wind. Building on the progress already made, we will continue to work with business, with labor, and other social partners to make our ports more efficient and our rail lines more reliable. We want, yes, our ports to work effectively. We want Durban Port, which is the real artery of our economic future, to be one of the best ports in the country. Yes, indeed, all the other ports that we have. We want our rail lines to be rebuilt and to be reliable. We want PRASA to make sure that our trains come back so that our people can travel on trains as they go to work. We will continue to transform the structure of our financial sector so that the financial sector, the banks, provide affordable credit and invest in industrialization, in infrastructure, in job creation, and facilitates financial inclusion and prioritizes domestic investment. On the campaign trail, we met hundreds of South Africans who have started their own businesses. Many of our Black people now have their own businesses, and many more want to get into business. They do so that they can feed their families and lead productive lives. But many of them told us of their dreams to invest and grow their businesses. They spoke about the battles that they face to get affordable loans from the banks so that they can buy machinery, expand their businesses, and have their own transport machinery to produce their products. Abantu abaningi bathola ubunzima uma beya kumabhanki bayofuna imali. Amabhanki awabaniki imali. Sifuna ukuthi kube nendlela eqonde kahle ukuthi the financial institutions bakwazi ukuboleka abantu imali, bakwazi ukukhuphula le economy yethu, ngoba ukuthi economy yethu ikhuphuke idinga imali. We call upon our banks, yes, to offer our business people loans, to not make it difficult for our people to get the financial assistance that they need to run their own businesses. Others complained of the difficulty they have in finding markets and places where they can sell their goods and services. And to help these, we will encourage empowerment, employment, entrepreneurship, and training through set-asides for the public and private sectors. We will increase support for small enterprises, entrepreneurs, and cooperatives, especially in townships, through our public procurement programs. As I went through our townships and villages, I could see that many of our people are real entrepreneurs, and all they need is the support from their government to enable their businesses to function properly. And we are committed that we will support as many of our business people as possible so that they can make progress in their own businesses. We will support businesses that are owned by women, by young people, and by people with disabilities. As we work to make our economy more inclusive, it is deeply disturbing that some parties want to scrap broad-based black economic empowerment. In some particular province, I heard many African, colored, and Indian business people saying that they are effectively shut out of access to contracts to provide public and private service. There are those who say BEE must be scrapped. I want to make it clear, the African National Congress will not scrap black economic empowerment. We will not scrap it. Black economic empowerment is the policy of the African National Congress, and we will continue with it. And we will not scrap employment equity. We will continue. Bayathanda noma bathandi, employment equity izawuqhubeka, re tla tswella pele le yona. This is to ensure that black people, women, and persons with disabilities are represented in all parts of the economy, in all industries, in all professions, and in all institutions. We will continue to work with our Liberation War veterans to better their lives and to enable them to defend the gains of the democracy that they fought for. In many rural communities we visited, we met men and women who want to farm and who asked the ANC to help them to get land. In many rural and peri-urban communities, we met farmers who have been given land, who now want to grow and to enter new markets, who want more and more land. New landowners who have received land through the restitution program have used their land to build livelihoods for their children and communities, and have encouraged us to do more to make sure that they do succeed. And we will continue with our land reform program. We will continue to give land to our people so that they can farm. In the next 5 years, we will accelerate land reform and redistribution so that we can give small farmers assistance in the form of seed, tractors, irrigation, fencing, and we will protect security of tenure to boost food security and agricultural production and to build sustainable livelihoods. Access to water remains a major problem in many rural areas that we visited, and of course in many of our towns and cities as well. Our government will continue to expand and speed up major projects to ensure that more rural areas have reliable water supply. And this work is already underway. It includes the rehabilitation of a number of dams in a number of our provinces. And here in Gauteng, yes, we have a water problem. And as I walked in, I saw one of the placards being held by one of our comrades here. They raised the issue of water in Hammanskraal. We are attending to the completion of the Rooiwal wastewater treatment so that our people in Hammanskraal, in Tshwane, should be able to get better water. And these are programs that we are attending to throughout the country. In eThekwini, we have the same challenge. In Limpopo, we have the same challenge. In Northwest, there's a similar challenge. We are addressing the water challenge that our people are having. While we have worked together over the last 30 years to lift millions of people out of absolute poverty, the rising cost of food and transport is taking a great toll on many households. Yes, we now know that when our people go to supermarkets, even as they have some money, when our pensioners go with their 2,000 rand, abasa khona go reka dijo ka tsela ele ya khale, ha ba khutla le dijo tse dinyanenyana fela. Ra tseba ntho eno, re batla gore le yona e lokiswe, that the cost of living must also be brought down. That is why we are taking steps to make everyday life more affordable for our people, the unemployed, and the middle class. We are addressing needs like food, housing, healthcare, and wages. We will prioritize food security, including VAT exemption on essential items, support communities and home gardens, and take action against price fixing. We will expand subsidized basic services like electricity, water, and houses for the poor through the indigent program in our municipalities. The ANC will staunchly defend the national minimum wage to ensure that it continues to increase in line with inflation and to work to ensure that all employers comply with it. In these times of hardship, it is outrageous that some parties are saying that habakawina uma bengawina ukhetho lolu oluzayo i-national minimum wage bazoyiqeda ingasabikho. They say they are going to scrap the national minimum wage. This is an attack on workers and on our efforts to build a fairer society. These are the same reactionary forces that see nothing wrong in paying slave wages to illegal migrants who come to our country while depriving law-abiding workers of their right to a living wage. We have seen how they employ people who do not have the relevant papers, but worst of all, they pay them slave wages because they want to exploit them. As we grow the economy and create jobs, we will continue to provide support and protection to the most vulnerable in society. We will maintain the existing social grants, which have been so important in reducing poverty and providing children with opportunities. At the same time, we will progressively implement a basic income support grant for unemployed people based on the SRD grant. We will, with so many people still unemployed, we must continue to provide income support to those who need it most. As I have gone around the country, our people have said, President, we are grateful that during COVID, the government introduced the 350, and they say to me, we want you to increase it. We want you to take it to 750. That is what people want. Now we say, we want our economy to grow. As our economy grows, we will be able to have the capacity to provide more and more support and assistance to our people. However, we have now increased the 350 to 370. Sithi, yebo sinizwile, kodwa sithi sizaqhubeka sibone ukuthi le basic income grant efunwa umphakathi ana sizo-introducer kanjani uma siloku siya phambili. Yona i-basic income grant iyeza isendleleni izoba khona la eSouth Africa. Basic income grant itlaba teng ka hobane thusa batho ba haeso, e tla ba thusa ka hobane tlhophego e sa le teng mona. We will continue investing in South Africa's people by improving access to quality education and health, expanding on the use of science and technology, and ensuring that our people have decent housing and basic services. We will continue as the ANC led government to ensure that South Africans live long and have healthy lives and that all people, regardless of their income, receive quality health care. Ntho e nngwe e batho ba rona ba bangata ba sa e tsebeng ke ya hore ka mesebetsi e etswang ke mmuso ona wa rona, batho ba bangata mo South Africa setse ba phela dilemo tse ileng hodimo ho feta pele. Pele batho ba bangata ba ne ba hlokahala dilemo tsa bona di soka di fihla le ho 60 le ho 63. Jwale batho ba bangata ba mona South Africa setse ba phela dilemo tse di setse di fitetse ka hodimo. Hona ho etsahala ka hobane ntho ena ya bophelo, healthcare ya mona South Africa ka nnete setse nyolohile. Bophelo, healthcare ya rona setse nyolohile, and yes, our life expectancy has been rising quite a lot, and the World Health Organization says when a country sees an improvement in life expectancy, it means that yes, the health and the livelihoods of the people in the country is progressively going up. We will implement the National Health Insurance, which I signed a few days ago. And we say the NHI is now here. The NHI was a long struggle by our forebears over an 81-year period. We now have an NHI which will provide health care in both the public and the private sectors. That is free at all points of care. The NHI will be implemented in phases to ensure that it is affordable, it is sustainable, and directs resources where they are most needed. It is unacceptable that some privileged members of our societies want us to continue with a deeply uneven healthcare system that has apartheid features, that deprives the poor and the vulnerable of the right to equal access to quality health care. It is equally wrong for them to claim that the NHI will mean the end of private health care. The NHI will harness the strength of both the private and public sectors to build a single quality healthcare system for all. We will give every child the best start in life by introducing 2 years of compulsory early childhood development and ensure proper resourcing and support to ECD facilities. Re batla hore bana ba rona go be le dilemo tse pedi tsa compulsory ECD, di crash tsena, bana ba rona ba kene di crash, ba kene ECD, ba rutwe hantle uma besase bancane. The investment in early childhood development will support further measures in foundational phase to ensure that the children are able to read with meaning and improve their numeracy. To prepare young people for the economy of the future, we will increase enrollment in maths and science and expand coding, robotics, and technology education, and then expand the technical and vocational training. We will continue to work to reduce the cost of data, enabling training of young and old people to develop and operate new technologies. We want to call on our telecommunications companies, our telcos, to reduce continuously the cost of data. The cost of data in South Africa is still amongst the highest in the world, and we want data to continue to be reduced because South Africa cannot be an outlier when it comes to the cost of data. Luna, the telco companies, we want to see you continuing to reduce the cost of data so that our young people must be able, yes, to be on the internet, to be able to find opportunities for employment without having to pay a lot of money. That's why we said, down with data costs down. We want those data costs to go down to ensure that all South Africans have decent shelter. We will increase the availability of housing. Yes, we will continue building RDP houses for our people. We will also increase service sites so that those of our people who want to build their own houses should be able to get service sites with water, with electricity, and roads. At the same time, we will want to continue upgrading our informal settlements and provide them with basic services. Throughout the country, we visited areas where residents expressed deep disappointment about the working and the performance of our municipalities. Batho banji boribudza uri bomasipala abakho shuma zwavhuḓi, bakho ṱoḓa bomasipala vashu vha tshi ita mushumo wavhuḓi wa service delivery. We are going to focus on improving our municipalities, our local government. We want our local government to be more accountable. We want to see those who are in our local government to be dedicated to serving our people, to put the interests of our people first. Re se ke ra ba le batho ba tla bang ba sebeletsa dipokoto tsa bona, ba ska ba ba sebeletsa fela bona, ba ska ba ba bitsa metswalle ya bona le ditsala tsa bona go tlo nka mesebetsi, ba bule mesebetsi gore e etswe ka batho botlhe go sena go kgetha bao ba le metswalle ya bona. We had complaints about water and sewage not being properly maintained. I saw illegal dumping and heard about refuse not being collected. The residents of various places we met spoke about broken meter boxes, about cable theft that deprived them of electricity. Many complained about high municipality bills, uneven implementation of the indigent subsidy system. That is why, where municipalities are unable to deliver basic services like clean water, national and provincial governments will be able to step in to ensure that people get what they need. Uma omasipala bethu kubonakala ukuthi bayahluleka ukwenza imisebenzi yabo. U-national government no-provincial government uzawungena ulungise uyenze imisebenzi ukuthi abantu bakithi bangahlali bephila bengenawo ama-services. Ngifuna ukuthi kucace kahle lokho kuMasipala ukuthi we are going to intervene because we will not allow our people to continue suffering as a result of municipalities that are not going to perform. This we are going to do. In fact, we have already started. I was very touched last week when I met a pensioner who told me that she has not forgotten what it was like to live under apartheid. And she told me of her bitter memories of being a second-class citizen. She urged us to make sure that vulnerable people never again experience discrimination and prejudice. Over the next 5 years, the ANC will continue to promote and defend the rights of all South Africans against racism, sexism, gender-based violence, homophobia, discrimination, and intolerance. We will remain resolute in advancing the rights and dignity of children, older persons, persons with disabilities, the LGBTQIA+ community, and people living with albinism. We will continue the fight for women's emancipation and so that we can achieve a truly non-sexist society. We will strengthen the role of families in supporting both young and older citizens with special attention to their responsibilities in raising their children. We will strengthen the quality of services that are provided to older people, including community-based and residential care facilities, and we will afford them the consideration and the respect that is due to them by society. During the course of this campaign, we met many communities and individuals who expressed painful experiences about crime and the toll that it is taking on their lives and the well-being of our society. The pandemic of gender-based violence continues despite the important work that has been done by the police, the prosecuting authorities, civil society, gender activists, and some men who continue to advocate the respect for women. Yesterday, I signed into law the act that facilitates the establishment of the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. This statutory body will coordinate and provide strategic leadership to fight against gender-based violence. The National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence was developed together with society. Now, we will continue to use this law to ensure that we protect the women of our country better and we impose harsher sentences on perpetrators of gender-based violence, on those men who rape the women of our country, and those men who kill the women of our country, and those men who abuse the women of our country. We say, yes, through these laws, you are going to find it harder to get bail. You are going to get life sentences when you abuse the women of our country. And for that reason, We say to the men of South Africa, respect the women and girls of our country. Ke re mo lona kwalang dizipi tsa lona, le kwale dizipi. Ha o tlholeha go freya, re tla o bulela sekolo sa o ruta o freya, o tlogele go beta basadi, o tlogele go reipa, ka bane ntwena ya go reipa e bontsha gore a o monna o feletseng. Re masihlonipheni amakhosikazi walelizwe. Ayihlonipheni basati ba hina, basesi ba hina, re thoniphe bafumakazi ba heli shango la hasho la Afrika Tshipembe. As a society, we must continue to work together to end gender-based violence. And together, we will take the necessary steps to ramp up the war on gender-based violence. We will strengthen our police, our courts, and as part of this, yes, we have set up specialized teams to tackle various areas of crime, to ensure that we deal with criminality effectively, including gender-based violence. We will, in tackling the crime that is in our country, we will continue with the setting up of specialized units that will continue to fight against various forms of criminality. And we will continue to recruit and train more police personnel. We have thus far recruited up to 30,000, and we will continue to train them so that they continue to be actively involved in fighting crime in our country. Just as we stood together to end state capture, we must now work together to end all forms of corruption. Corruption is a crime against the people of our country. As a people's movement, we are saying as we go back to government, we will continue to fight corruption. We will ensure that there is more accountability and more consequences for those who get involved in corrupt activities. The money stolen through state capture is being recovered, and we will continue to recover the money. Yesterday, I signed the amendment to the NPA bill, enabling us to have an investigating directorate that will continue in the fight against corruption. Yes, the treasonous attempts that were embarked upon to destroy SARS, for instance, have been stopped, and SARS is now setting up new records in collecting revenue that will continue to provide enough resources to enable the government to support the livelihoods of our people. So we will continue to ensure that the state capture that was inaugurated a few years ago is completely obliterated in our country, and we will continue to root out corruption through a compact between government, business and labor, and community-based organizations. The people have told us that their organization, the ANC, they want us to be more focused on ensuring that corruption and criminality is completely obliterated in South Africa. They've also told us that yes, they love their organization and that they will not allow their organization to be stolen by criminals and counter-revolutionaries. And the ANC is committed to developing and, where necessary, to correct its own members and leaders, because our renewal program is firmly underway and it continues to gain momentum, and our renewal program is irreversible. We are not going back to the situation where, yes, indiscipline, yes, the destruction of the values and principles of the ANC are the order of the day. There will be no compromise in the African National Congress on the issue of organizational renewal. We've said that we are on a journey to renew the ANC, and indeed, the ANC is being renewed. The ANC is being revitalized. The ANC is beginning to function much more effectively. And that is why I say there will be no compromise on fundamental matters of organizational discipline and integrity. As a country, we will continue to ensure that an ANC-led government is a government that will lead this country with integrity. Those who could not stand the renewal of the ANC have left us. Bahambile ngoba babonile ukuthi i-renewal ngempela abakwazi ukuthi bayimele. Baphumile baqambe imbutho yabo, baqambe imbutho yabo yemkokotelo. Bahambile phakathi kwethu, thina sizaqhubeka ne-renewal ye-ANC, so that the ANC becomes a fit and proper organization that is going to lead our people, that is going to lead government going forward. As a country, South Africa will continue to fight for peace, for development, and justice across the world. It is important not only because the world stood up with us to fight against apartheid, but because a peaceful Africa and a peaceful world is good for South Africa. The ANC shares the horror that the vast majority of South Africans feel when they see the death and destruction and starvation and genocide that has been unleashed on the people of Palestine by an apartheid Israel. There must be an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, particularly following the decision of the International Court of Justice just yesterday, which, after South Africa approached the court again, has now ruled that yes, Israel must stop with the attack against the people of Palestine in Rafah, in Gaza. And we say we want a ceasefire now. We want Israel to enable humanitarian aid to go into Gaza right now. The whole world is appalled at the genocide that is being committed against the people of Palestine. For us, as the African National Congress, we will continue to stand with the people of Palestine, because our own freedom is intricately linked with the freedom of the people of Palestine. And we say, free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. We must continue to exert pressure so that the people of Palestine must also enjoy the peace that all of us, we are enjoying. Comrades, the journey to build a democratic South Africa must also continue. Working together, we will continue to use our Constitution to make sure that we defend, yes, we defend our democracy, and we will not also allow those who burn the flag of South Africa to reverse the achievements of our democracy. There is a political party that has sought in trying to win the votes of the people of South Africa, has been burning the flag of our country. And we say, down with burning the flag of South Africa, down. We will not allow that to continue happening in our country, because the flag of our nation is a unity symbol. It is this flag that unites us. It is this flag that continues to bind us together. And it is the African National Congress that will continue with the program of uniting the people of South Africa and making sure that South Africa becomes a united, non-sexist, democratic country. We are also going forward to make sure that on the 29th of May, we all go out and ask our people, yes, to vote for the African National Congress, so that the African National Congress can come back into government and continue with the process of renewing, rejuvenating, and the transformational agenda it has been involved in. We are asking the people of our country to make a clear choice for unity and progress, and to reject the social and political forces that are working hard to, yes, reverse and undermine the gains that we have won over many decades. We're asking you, the people of South Africa, to choose the African National Congress and the broad progressive movement as the only reliable force that can continue our journey to transformation. We are asking you, yes, on the 29th of May, to vote for the African National Congress. As we said at the start of our campaign, we have achieved the impossible together. Our biggest victories were won together. Our deepest sorrows were felt together. Our biggest strides, yes, were achieved as we worked together. To all ANC comrades who are here today at this rally, I say the battle is not yet over. While we salute you for turning out in your tens of thousands to fill this stadium, the real test is not today. The real test will be on Wednesday. On that day, we are asking you, each and every one of you, to go out door to door and remind our supporters to go to voting stations early. We are asking you to remind voters that they must vote at the voting station where they are registered, unless they have informed the IEC. As I have been saying throughout this campaign, on the 29th, re kopa hore kaofela rona re tsoge hoseng. Ha re tsoga hoseng, o tlhape meno fela. Ha o fetsa o tlhapa meno, o apare diaparo tsa hao. haeba o robala le motho o tsose motho o o re moratiwa a re tsoge re lo vouta re lo voutela ANC ke re le tlogele ntho e nngwe le nngwe e le etsang goseng haeba gona le dintho tse le di etsang goseng le di beele ka thoko le tla di etsa ha le kgutla ho vouta ka bane dintho tseo di tla dula di le teng tsona di feli so ngithi ke masiphumeni ngobuningi siyovotela i-ANC sicela labo abaneyimoto ukuthi yebo nincede abadala nincede laba abangaphilanga kahle ukuthi ngomhla ka-27 no-28 bayofaka ama-special votes sicela ama-party agents to remain tirelessly at their posts to ensure our election is free and fair. We are asking you everywhere to go to spread our message. And our message is simple. First ballot paper, vote ANC. Second ballot paper, vote ANC. Third ballot paper, vote ANC. If you don't want to vote for the ANC, go out and vote for the African National Congress. All you have to look at is to look at the ballot paper, look at the sign of the ANC, and look out for a handsome guy like me and put your cross next to that sign. That is how we are going to win this election. Nifuna indoda enhle kuphela. Hayi laba abanye ababi. Nifunane nendoda yobuso obuhle. Nivotele yona. Rikhotoda uringazi 29. Ubonale ngango. Urimbondi ntifezi. Hapa noni South Africa. Ungasibe na mbombili. Kaube na mbombili fezi. Kube nenkunzi yodwa. Leyo nkunzi i-African National Congress. Bayathanda noma bathandi i-ANC izawungena iqhubeke ngomsebenzi omuhle ewuyenzayo. Baningi abangathandi kodwa bazosibona kahle ngomhla ka-29 ngoba kuzosuka amaphepha kuzosala amazambane kuzawubonakala ukuthi i-ANC ifikile so maqabane masiphumeni sonke aritsweng kaofela ayihumeni hinkwerhu kharive rothe rio votela dzangano la hashu and make sure that the African National Congress wins. I am glad that many of our provinces are here, and I have given strict instructions that Limpopo must give us 90%, Mpumalanga must give us 85%, Gauteng must give us a good 70%. Yes, KZN must give us a good 70% nayo. Northwest must give us 85%. Yebo, Northern Cape nayo ifana ukuthi isinike 65%. Onke ama-province ethu bangithembise ukuthi yebo, President, we are going to make sure ukuthi we get our members and our people to come out in their thousands. Labo abati ANC is going to be below 50%. Nizasibona kahle ngomhla ka-29. Anikaboni lutho. Nisizwa nje emaphepheni. Nisibona nje ku-TV. Nisazosibona ngamandla. Phambili ngokunqoba phambili. Forward to victory, forward. Ngena ANC, ngena. Ngena ANC, ngena. Wina ANC, wina. Amandla. Ariel rilo vota. Ke a leboha.